One of the most consistent things I've heard through the years is people tell me that they don't have time for meditation or it just doesn't work for them because they can't fit it in their schedule. And I always like having this conversation because oftentimes I can show them how having this mindset can be a hindrance and can set them back in a lot of ways. And by integrating this practice into their life, they can accomplish so much more and not need the extra time, but find that their quality in what they do will improve and their performance will improve. So they really don't have time not to do this. You know, the Dalai Lama once said everybody should meditate for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should meditate for an hour. And I really resonate with that, in that this practice is so important. And that's why you'll see CEOs and professional athletes that are world-class athletes that you wouldn't think would have time to do anything other than focus on their sport are finding time to meditate, because it helps improve their performance and get them to higher levels of play by understanding how to use this practice and integrate it into everything they do. And so in this video, we're going to talk about ritual, active, and philosophical practices and how we can integrate them in our life, set some small goals, and start integrating it and start utilizing this practice. And the first thing that I want you guys to do is just have the idea of what a ritual, active, and philosophical practice is. Ritual practices are when we set time aside every day and we just focus on our practice, whether it's a sitting meditation, standing meditation, a movement practice, studying some philosophical concepts, whatever that is. Then active practices are things that we can do when we're walking down the street or standing in line at the grocery store. Both of these, ritual and active practices, can be done with philosophical practices. So within our philosophical training, we can take some of these sayings that we memorize and these mantras, if you will, to help us focus on a certain mindset or energy to help us either improve our mindset or our performance. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is a ritual that I think everybody should integrate into their day. And it's what we do with those first few minutes when we wake up every day. You know, it's the only time during the day where we're least affected by our screens, by our bombardment of things to do at work and around the house and conversations and meetups and whatever it is you have in your schedule. But what I see people doing all of the time and what I hear about them doing is that their alarm goes off in the morning and the first thing they do is they roll over, they pick up their phone, and they either look at their schedule or they start scrolling through social media or thinking about all these things that we have to do. This is precious time. This is time where our minds are settled, our breath is relaxed, our body is relaxed. We need to utilize that time to train ourselves to get started with the day with the best possible mindset and focus as we can. And this ritual practice of doing this on a regular basis will start to feed over into everything we do. It could be as simple as when you get out of bed, sitting and counting 30 breaths, or doing a standing meditation, or a simple movement practice like your Tai Chi form or a Qigong set. The other thing I like to integrate into this morning time is some philosophical practices that help train the mind to focus on the positive, to be balanced, to be centered, to be aware. Because the mind is like a muscle. And if we don't train it on how to respond and how to be aware and how to be present, we get kind of lost in the chaos. And this is a time where we're least distracted, where we can focus on training that muscle, training that mind to think about positive thoughts, qualities that we want to improve on. And this isn't like positive thinking, shooting in the dark, thinking that, it's, if I say it, it's going to happen. This is consistent work and effort that we do to train the mind to be settled, to be focused, to be positive, to be present, and react to things from a centered place rather than out of distraction and chaos. And so if you do this every morning, you do some kind of a movement practice, a breathing practice, some kind of philosophical training to help program your mind to a positive direction, and you're consistent with this, you will see so many benefits from this. Now, one more idea I'd like to give you is, this is a very beginning, easy ritual thing to do. This is something that, you could do in as little as 10, maybe 20 minutes a day in the morning. And in doing this, you'll see huge results. Adding active practices into your day where you're continuously coming back to that mindset and that presence, that awareness, whether it's just counting out 10 breaths or doing a simple movement practice through a Qigong set, something to help bring you back to that focus. You do that consistently. Over time, you start to live and reside more and more in that space of awareness and presence. And now, rather than being distracted and being off center, you're more focused all day, every day. And then a little bit of a trick that will help you even reach deeper levels is before you go to bed at night, don't be looking at your phone. Spend 5 or 10 minutes focusing on these positive attributes again. So if you program yourself to go to bed thinking about these things, you think about them at night subconsciously while we're sleeping, and then we wake up first thing in the morning, and pretty soon we're growing in ways that maybe we thought wasn't even possible. And so I hope you take this to heart and integrate some of this practice into your day and get a lot out of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.